I found my husband's secret second phone and uncovered his double life. The discovery happened on an ordinary Tuesday. I was digging through the laundry basket, mindlessly separating whites from colors, when my fingers brushed against something hard buried beneath a pile of his gym clothes. My heart stuttered when I pulled it out. A phone. But not just any phone. It wasn't his. My husband, Daniel, was meticulous, a creature of habit. He kept his phone on the nightstand while he slept and on his desk while he worked. But this one? This was an old model, something he would have replaced long ago. My stomach twisted. A secret phone? I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at it. The screen was dark, but when I pressed the power button, it flickered to life. A passcode lock. My hands trembled as I typed in his usual, our anniversary. Nothing. His birthday? No luck. Then, almost without thinking, I tried something else. His mother's birthday. Click! It unlocked. A chill crawled up my spine. The home screen was eerily bare except for a few apps. No social media, no work emails. But then I saw it. The messages. I tapped. Charlotte, can't wait to see you tonight. Love you. Daniel, me too. Same time? Same place? My breath hitched. The messages went back for months, maybe years. Dinner dates, weekend trips, inside jokes I didn't understand. And at the bottom of the screen, a recent photo. Daniel, holding hands with a woman I didn't recognize. My heart slammed against my ribs. My vision blurred. This wasn't just a flirtation. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a second life. I clutched the phone, my mind spinning. Who was Charlotte? How long had this been going on? And more importantly, what was I going to do about it? I heard the front door unlock. Daniel was home. I barely had time to shove the phone under the pile of clothes before I heard his footsteps in the hallway. My hands trembled as I forced myself to breathe. The laundry basket sat in front of me, my fingers gripping a shirt so tightly my knuckles turned white. Daniel stepped into the bedroom, his expression relaxed, oblivious. Hey, babe. He leaned down and kissed my forehead, his scent familiar. Safe. But now it felt like a lie. Hey, I murmured, hoping my voice sounded normal. My heart pounded against my ribs. Could he hear it? He walked to the closet, unbuttoning his shirt. Long day. You good? Good? Was I good? I was unraveling inside. I wanted to throw the phone at him, scream, demand answers. But I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I forced a small, tight smile. Yeah, just tired. He nodded, oblivious, and I watched as he changed into sweats. My mind raced. I needed a plan. If I confronted him now, he'd deny it. Gaslight me. Maybe even destroy the phone. No, I had to be smarter. I had to find out everything first. That night, I barely slept. Daniel dozed peacefully beside me, his breath slow and even. I lay awake, replaying the messages in my mind. Same time? Same place? Where? How often? Did Charlotte know about me? At 3 a.m., I slipped out of bed. My pulse hammered as I retrieved the phone from the laundry basket and crept into the bathroom, locking the door behind me. The messages continued. Charlotte. Morning, handsome. Last night was amazing. Hope you're thinking of me. Daniel. Always. Counting down the days until I can hold you again. I clenched my jaw. I scrolled further, my stomach twisting. Then I found something that made my blood turn cold. A receipt. A hotel reservation. This wasn't just dinner dates. He had traveled with her. I gripped the sink for balance. My husband wasn't just cheating. He had built a whole other life. I needed proof. Real proof. Enough to confront him so he couldn't talk his way out of it. And I had an idea exactly how to get it. Carefully, I placed the phone back where I found it and slipped into bed beside him. I closed my eyes, heart racing, knowing that in just a few hours, I'd be following my husband. And I'd finally meet Charlotte. The next morning, I played my part perfectly. I kissed Daniel goodbye, smiled as he grabbed his coffee, and waved as he walked out the door. But the moment his car turned the corner, I sprang into action. I had memorized the details from his secret phone. He had a meeting with Charlotte today, en bar, Café Leblanc. I changed quickly, opting for a dark hoodie and sunglasses to avoid being noticed. My heart hammered as I got in my car and made my way downtown. My mind raced with possibilities. Would he be affectionate with her in public? Would he see me before I saw them? When I arrived, I parked across the street, my hands gripping the wheel. The cafe was small with large windows that gave me a perfect view inside. I scanned the tables. And then I saw them. Daniel sat at a corner booth, leaning in close to a woman with wavy blonde hair. She was pretty, mid-30s, well-dressed, her hand resting lightly on his. She laughed at something he said, her eyes full of warmth. He wasn't just cheating, he was in love with her. I felt sick. I pulled out my phone, snapping a few pictures. My hands trembled as I recorded a short video. I needed evidence, proof of his betrayal. Then something unexpected happened. Charlotte reached into her bag and pulled out a small velvet box. My breath hitched. Number no, no, no. She slid it across the table and Daniel smiled. A big, genuine, happy smile I hadn't seen in years. He opened the box. Inside was a key. I watched in horror as he picked it up, turning it over in his fingers before tucking it into his pocket. Charlotte reached for his hand. "Our place is finally ready," she said, her voice carrying just enough for me to hear. "I can't wait to start this new chapter with you." I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Daniel wasn't just having an affair. He was moving in with her. I sat frozen in my car, my pulse pounding in my ears. The weight of what I'd just witnessed pressed down on my chest like a boulder. Daniel wasn't just having an affair. He was building a life with her. A new home, a future. Rage burned in my veins, but I forced myself to stay calm. Storming in there would accomplish nothing. No, I needed a plan. I needed to destroy him the way he had destroyed me. I kept recording, capturing every loving glance, every touch of their hands. When Daniel kissed Charlotte's knuckles, I nearly saw red, but I clenched my jaw, gripping my phone tighter. I waited until they got up to leave. Daniel placed his hand on the small of Charlotte's back, guiding her out of the cafe like he had done to me 1,000 times before. They walked toward a sleek black Mercedes parked a few spots away. Not Daniel's car, Charlotte's. As soon as they drove off, I turned the ignition and followed them. They drove across town to an upscale neighborhood, far from the apartment Daniel and I shared. My stomach twisted as I watched them pull into the driveway of a beautiful, modern townhouse. My hands shook as I took more pictures. This was it. Their place. Charlotte unlocked the door, and Daniel carried a box inside like he belonged there. Like this was his home. Tears blurred my vision, but I wiped them away. I wasn't going to cry. Not yet. Instead, I smirked, because I had an idea. I scrolled through my phone and pulled up my email. In seconds, I had typed out a message, attaching the photos and video I had just taken. To Charlotte, subject: the man you think you love. Hi, Charlotte. You don't know me, but I know you. More importantly, I know Daniel. You see, I'm his wife. That townhouse you just gave him a key to? He still comes home to me every night. The business trips and late meetings? That's when he's with you. But don't take my word for it. Check the attachments. See for yourself. I'm not writing this to save you. I don't care what happens to you. But if you think Daniel is your perfect man, you might want to ask yourself, what else is he lying about? Best of luck. His actual wife. I hovered my finger over the send button, my heart hammering. Then I pressed it, and I smiled. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, staring at my phone screen. The email was sent. There was no taking it back now. A twisted sense of satisfaction bubbled up inside me. I imagined Charlotte opening her inbox, her world shattering just like mine had. Would she cry? Scream? Call Daniel immediately? I didn't have to wait long to find out. 15 minutes later, Daniel's phone buzzed on the nightstand back at home. I had forwarded his secret messages to my own phone earlier, so I knew Charlotte's number by heart. Charlotte, you need to explain. Right. Now I almost laughed. He was screwed. My heart raced as I watched his messages pile up. Charlotte, why didn't you tell me you were married? Charlotte, who is she? Charlotte, answer me, Daniel, or I swear to God I will come find her myself. I bit my lip. Now that was interesting. I wanted to see what Daniel would do next, so I waited. The house was silent, except for the occasional hum of the refrigerator. The calm before the storm. Finally, Daniel's response appeared. Daniel. Charlotte, please, let me explain in person. I clenched my fists. Of course, he was trying to smooth things over, but I wasn't done yet. I pulled out his secret phone and typed a response to Charlotte myself. Actually, I'd love to meet. Let's talk, just us. No Daniel. Name a place. I smirked as I hit send. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about taking control. My phone buzzed just a minute after I sent the message. Charlotte. Fine. 7 p.m. The Oakwood Hotel bar. No Daniel. Perfect. I leaned back, my heart pounding. Tonight, I would finally come face to face with the woman my husband had been betraying me with. But this wasn't just about meeting her. It was about exposing Daniel for the liar he was. By the time 7 p.m. rolled around, I was dressed in a sleek black dress, something that made me feel powerful. No tears, no weakness. If I was going to face her, I needed to be in control. I arrived at the Oakwood Hotel bar 10 minutes early. It was dimly lit, the kind of place where people had affairs and closed business deals in the same breath. I spotted Charlotte immediately. She was sitting in a booth near the back, her fingers wrapped around a half-empty glass of wine. She looked up as I approached. Her blue eyes were sharp, assessing. For a split second, I wondered if she had any idea what she was about to walk into. I slid into the booth across from her. Charlotte. She stared at me, then let out a small, humorless laugh. So you're the wife. And you're the mistress. I tilted my head. Or at least that's what I thought. But based on that house key you gave him, I'd say you were under the impression you were the only woman in his life. Charlotte's jaw tightened. I didn't know about you. I raised an eyebrow. And you believed that? What kind of man moves in with someone while still technically married? She looked away, gripping her glass. I thought we were building something real. He told me he loved me. I almost laughed. Oh, sweetheart, he told me that this morning. Her eyes snapped back to mine. I could sit here and tell you every lie he's ever told you, I continued. Or I could show you the proof. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through the messages I had copied from his secret device. Here, read for yourself. She hesitated, but curiosity won. She took the phone, her face paling as she scrolled. I watched as realization settled in. He took me to our favorite restaurant the same week he was on a work trip with you? She whispered. I smirked. Yep. And that fancy vacation last summer? Paid for with my credit card. Her hands trembled as she put the phone down. I could see the fury brewing beneath her shock. Good. She looked up at me, her voice deadly calm. So what now? I leaned in, lowering my voice. I don't know about you, but I don't believe in letting men like Daniel walk away unscathed. A slow, dangerous smile spread across Charlotte's lips. I'm listening. Charlotte stared at me, her grip tightening around her wine glass. I could practically see the storm brewing inside her. She had been betrayed, just like me. Lied to, used, discarded like she meant nothing. And now? She wanted revenge just as badly as I did. I leaned forward, keeping my voice low. I think we both know Daniel deserves to pay for this. The question is, how far are you willing to go? Charlotte smirked. I'm not the crying in the shower type. I want to make him suffer. Good. I pulled out my phone and slid it toward her. Then let's start with ruining his entire life. Charlotte picked it up, scanning the messages, photos, and receipts I had compiled. Every hotel stay, every lie, every time he told us the same exact thing. What are you thinking? She asked, her tone sharper now, her confidence returning. I smirked. We take everything from him. Charlotte raised an eyebrow. You mean? I nodded. His reputation, his job, his money, everything. I could see the wheels turning in her head. Daniel was a financial advisor, trusted, respected. But what if his clients found out he was a fraud in more ways than one? What if his employers started getting anonymous messages about his questionable ethics? What if every woman he ever tried to charm knew exactly who he was? Charlotte's lips curled into a slow, wicked smile. I like the way you think. I pulled up my email and started typing. To Daniel's boss subject. The truth about your employee. I attached screenshots of his secret transactions, gifts, hotel stays, vacations, paid for on our joint account. I detailed his deception, hinting at the kind of dishonesty that might extend beyond his personal life. Charlotte leaned in, her fingers flying over her own phone screen. Oh, I have something even better. She pulled up a video, a recording of Daniel whispering sweet nothings to her, promising her a life together, telling her he had never been married before. I laughed. Send it to me. I'll make sure it gets distributed. With one last glance at each other, we both hit send. Charlotte leaned back, exhaling sharply. This feels good. Oh, we're just getting started. I picked up my drink, clinking it against hers. Because when Daniel's world came crashing down, we would be the ones lighting the match. By the time I got home that night, I was practically buzzing with anticipation. Charlotte and I had set everything in motion. Emails sent, files shared, secrets exposed. It was only a matter of time before Daniel's carefully crafted double life came crashing down, and I wanted a front row seat. I didn't have to wait long. The next morning, Daniel was in the kitchen, sipping his coffee, scrolling through his phone like it was just another day. But then, ding. He frowned, tilting his head at the screen. Then, ding, 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 ding. His face went pale. What's wrong? I asked sweetly, taking a sip of my own coffee. His fingers tightened around his phone. It's, nothing. Just work. I leaned against the counter, watching as his expression morphed from confusion to full-blown panic. Ding. Another email. Then his phone rang. He hesitated before answering, forcing his voice into a calm tone. Hey, Tom. What's... He stopped. His face drained of color. I couldn't hear what his boss was saying, but judging by the way Daniel's jaw clenched, it wasn't good. What? His voice cracked. That's not true. There's been some kind of mistake. Oh, there was no mistake. Daniel's hands were shaking now. His knuckles went white as he gripped the phone. I casually picked up my own phone and sent a quick text to Charlotte. Me. It's happening. He's losing it. Charlotte. Good. He deserves worse. Daniel hung up, running a hand through his hair. He let out a shaky breath. Everything okay? I asked, biting back a smile. He looked up at me, eyes wide. Guilty, cornered. He swallowed hard. Something weird is going on. My boss just got some crazy emails about me. Someone's trying to ruin my reputation. I feigned concern. That's awful. What did they say? Daniel hesitated. They, think I've been misusing company funds, that I've been lying to clients. Someone sent them screenshots. I gasped dramatically. Oh no, that sounds serious. His phone rang again. This time, he ignored it. He was sweating now, his whole body tense. Then, another ding. Daniel glanced at the screen and his face twisted in horror. I already knew what he was looking at, because Charlotte had just uploaded their love video to a private Facebook group filled with Daniel's family, co-workers, and friends. It was over, and I was loving every second of it. Daniel's face was a mask of pure panic. His fingers trembled as he scrolled through his phone, his breathing shallow. I knew exactly what he was looking at. Charlotte's video was spreading like wildfire. His colleagues, his friends, even his own mother had probably seen it by now. Jesus Christ, he muttered under his breath, rubbing his face with his hands. No, no, no. I hid my smirk behind my coffee mug. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Then his phone rang again. He hesitated, glancing at me, then stood up and walked toward the hallway to take the call. Big mistake, because I followed. He didn't even notice me lurking around the corner as he answered. Mom, please let me explain, he said desperately. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. Then I remembered the years of lies, the weekends he had business trips, the times I had sat at home alone, wondering why my husband felt like a stranger. His mother's voice was loud enough that I could hear the rage in it. Daniel, how could you? A whole other woman? And you lied to her too? You've embarrassed this family. Daniel groaned, gripping the bridge of his nose. Mom, I swear it's not like that. Oh? Then what is it like? She snapped. Because I just watched a very clear video of you telling another woman you love her? I bit back a laugh. Charlotte had done well. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, pacing in circles. I messed up, okay? But I can fix this. His mother let out a bitter laugh. No, Daniel, you can't. Your boss already called your father. They're talking about an investigation into your accounts at work. That wiped the desperation off his face. Wait, what? Yeah, she continued. Misusing company money? Lying to clients? You're about to lose your damn job. He went completely still. Then he turned, and he saw me, standing there, watching him. He froze, his phone still pressed to his ear. His expression was pure horror. You, he breathed. I smiled. Me. His mother was still shouting on the phone, but he didn't hear a word of it. He was too busy staring at me, realization dawning on his face. I leaned against the doorway, crossing my arms. Something wrong, honey? His mouth opened and closed. You... I tilted my head. Me? A flicker of rage flashed across his face. You did this. I let the silence stretch between us. Let him really think about what had just happened. Then I smiled. And I said, Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea what's coming next. Daniel stood frozen in the hallway, his phone still clutched in his hand, his mother's voice faintly crackling on the other end. He didn't even seem to hear her anymore. His focus was on me, his wife, the woman he had underestimated. You destroyed my life, he whispered, his voice laced with fury. I took a slow, deliberate step toward him. Oh no, Daniel. You destroyed your life. I just turned on the light so everyone else could see it. His jaw clenched, his nostrils flaring. I can fix this. I can... Ding. Another notification. His eyes flicked to the screen, and I watched as whatever hope he had left evaporated. Because this wasn't just another work email or an angry message from his family. This was from Charlotte, and she had just sent him a live stream link. I grinned. Oh, good. It's starting. Daniel hesitated for only a second before tapping the link. The video opened on Charlotte, sitting in what looked like a fancy hotel suite, a martini in her hand. Her expression? Absolutely lethal. Hello, everyone, she purred, crossing her legs. I want to personally thank you all for tuning in, especially Daniel's coworkers, family, and, his clients. Daniel's breath hitched. No, I smirked. Oh, yes. Charlotte continued, her voice dripping with venom. By now, many of you have seen the... evidence of Daniel's two-faced life. But did you know that's not all? She reached for a folder sitting beside her. See, Daniel didn't just lie to me and his wife. He lied to a lot of people. And today, I'm making sure you all know exactly who he is. She opened the folder and held up bank statements, forged contracts, transactions that were clearly fraudulent. Daniel staggered back, his entire body trembling. She can't. Oh, but she is, I said, enjoying the show. Charlotte flipped through the documents like a news anchor delivering the world's juiciest scandal. Turns out our dear Daniel has been moving money where it shouldn't be, lying to clients, fudging numbers, and do you know what that means? She paused, her smile widening. It means criminal charges. The chat on the live stream exploded. Comments from former clients, furious family members, even someone claiming to be an attorney flooded the screen. I turned to Daniel. His skin was a sickly shade of gray. He looked like a man watching his own funeral play out in real time. Then his phone rang again. I peeked over his shoulder. Incoming call. Law firm of Parker and Reynolds. I let out a low whistle. Wow, that was fast. Daniel dropped his phone like it had burned him. His hands went to his head, fingers pulling at his hair. Number no, no, no. This isn't happening. Oh, it's happening, I said, my tone almost sympathetic. Almost. He spun toward me, his face contorted with rage. You think this is funny? You think ruining me is some kind of game? I met his furious glare with an icy calm. No, Daniel. I think lying to me for years, humiliating me, and treating me like a fool was a game. This? I gestured to the chaos unfolding on his screen. This is just me making sure the right person loses. His fists clenched, his whole body shaking. For a second, I almost thought he might lunge at me. But then, knock, knock, knock. A loud, authoritative pounding at the door. Daniel and I both turned. I already knew who it was. I stepped back, casually sipping my coffee as Daniel hesitated, his breath coming in short, shallow bursts. Then, Daniel Carter, this is the police, open the door. The color drained from his face. His eyes darted to me, desperate, pleading. You have to help me. I tilted my head. Oh, sweetheart. I reached for the divorce papers I had already prepared, holding them up with a satisfied smile. I think we're done here. The moment Daniel opened the door, his world officially came crashing down. And I walked away without looking back.